The fulfillment of the prophecy of Elam, Iran. Jeremiah 49, verse 34 through 39. As of August 2025, the prophecy of Elam, Iran, has not been fulfilled yet. On March 14th, 2024, Christian prophet Brandon Biggs prophesied and posted on social media that Donald Trump would receive an assassination attempt on his life, but the bullet would miss his head and it would strike his ear. He also saw Trump going on to win the presidency. 4 months later, on July 13th, 2024, Donald Trump received an assassination attempt and survived after being struck by a bullet in his right ear, and then went on to win the presidential election on November 5th, 2024, becoming the 47th President of the United States.
All throughout America, all throughout, and I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. People say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming. I saw him winning the presidency. The Lord showed me it would go clear into the summer. Great persecution would come on him through the judges, through the law, and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff. But there would be a stop to it, and things would start to break free come toward the fall. And then I saw him winning the election through the Patriots coming out and voting.
Brandon Biggs has established himself as a true prophet, at least in the case of having specifically stated that Trump would survive an assassination attempt, be shot in the ear, would fall to his knees, and go on to win the presidency.
If you say you don't believe in miracles, let me show you what one looks like.
Take a look what happened.
Think about it. At the very moment Donald Trump turned his head, a bullet meant for death grazed his ear. Folks, that's not love. That's divine providence. That's intervention. The precision of that moment, down to the millisecond, is a miracle in motion. You watched it. Evil pulled the trigger, God turned the head. Say what you want about politics, but when destiny and protection collide like that, you're witnessing a higher hand at work, folks. History just bent right there in real time. You saw it.
Flash forward to June 22nd, 2025. On this date, the United States carried out Operation Midnight Hammer and destroyed 3 Iranian nuclear facilities that were believed to be enriching uranium to make nuclear weapons. This was the beginning of the fulfillment of the prophecy of Elam, Iran. Iran is prophesied to be further decimated, and its citizens will flee the country as refugees to all nations, according to Jeremiah 49, verse 34 through 39. The U.S. carried out a drone strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani on January 3, 2020, under President Donald Trump. Israel has had other Iranian generals killed throughout the years. Iran has declared that it would hold the United States accountable for its attacks on its generals and nuclear sites.
Now, Iran has ruled out direct talks with the United States and has announced that it will hold Washington accountable for attacks on its nuclear facilities in any future negotiations. The United States briefly joined Israel's battle against Iran on the 22nd of June, stalling initial discussions on Tehran's nuclear program. In a press conference on Monday, Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baqai said a strict no in response to a question on whether Tehran would become a part of direct negotiations with the United States. He said, and I'm quoting here, in any possible negotiation, the issue of holding the United States accountable and demanding compensation for committing military aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities will be one of the points on the agenda. During the course of the 12-day battle, Israel began an unprecedented onslaught and targeted Iranian military and nuclear installations, while also striking civilian areas. U.S. troops joined the war by attacking key nuclear facilities on Iran in Fordo, Isfahan and Natanz under Operation Midnight Hammer. The U.S. attacks relied heavily on B-2 bombers and Tomahawk missiles using heavy bunker-buster ordnance. Following the war, Tehran ceased cooperation with the United Nations nuclear watchdog, IAEA, and demanded guarantees against military actions before resuming any negotiations. Iran has repeatedly called reimposing sanctions illegal and has insisted on its right to enrich uranium. Whereas Israel and Western nations accuse Iran of pursuing nuclear weapons, a charge Tehran has consistently denied.
How exactly will Iran hold the U.S. accountable? They have no nuclear weapons and a conventional army that is no match for the military might of the United States. Brandon Briggs, the man who accurately prophesied Trump's July 13th, 2024 assassination attempt, has prophesied that Iran will seek revenge for its dead generals and destroyed nuclear facilities by striking a softer target, assassinating one of Donald Trump's sons, Donald Trump Jr.
I'm sure you remember this moment when God miraculously saved President Trump's life. Well, did you know that this man had a vision of this happening prior to? This same man just had another vision, and you need to see it.
I saw generals on paintings, oil-based paintings in frames that were really beautiful frames. And below this picture was fire, and it was consuming. And they're in hell. And they were fading away, for they looked like spirits, they looked like ghosts. And as the fire was burning the pictures, they said, "We want revenge." And the Lord showed me Don Jr., and he became a photo. And the fire was trying to eat him. For they say, if we cannot get to Trump, we will take out his son in revenge of what he did to our generals. I saw him in a tuxedo with a white shirt with black stud buttons. I saw flashing lights like photography, like the paparazzi. And all of a sudden he was shot right here in his chest. Then I went to President Trump and I could see him weeping because of what had happened. And then, when I get into it, start seeing that vision again, I'm not gonna, I could see the funeral, and he could barely walk. He was so grieving. He was grieving so bad. He could barely walk. He was stumbling. They had to help him, hold him up, as he was travail, like in travail, weeping over his son's life being taken. And then I could see Melania, and she had a black hat on. She had a veil on her face that was black. You see through like a net, and it was over her face, and she had black sunglasses on. She was trying to support Trump as he was walking to the funeral.
It would be well advised for Iran to study the history of the United States. You don't scratch a tiger, or in this case, a lion. After Japan's successful attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, as his colleagues were celebrating, General Yamamoto infamously stated, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve."
با دم شیر بازی نکنید. پشیمان میشید. پشیمانی ابدی برای شما به بار خواهد آورد.
Trump's response to Iranian President Rouhani: "Never, ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences, the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. We are no longer a country that will stand for your demented words of violence and death. Be cautious." President Donald J. Trump, tweet at Real Donald Trump, 8:24 p.m., 22nd of July, 2018. Apparently, Iranian President Rouhani does not understand which nation is the lion and which is the hyena. If Iran assassinates President Trump's son, his cub, he is going to swiftly find out that it is his nation that should have not played with the lion's tail.
Messing with lions is surely one of the fastest ways to get killed in the jungle. But if you mess with their cubs, you will most certainly earn yourself a very slow and very torturous death.
If Brandon Biggs's prophecy of the assassination of Donald Trump Jr. comes to pass, it will surely be the catalyst that will cause a grief-stricken President Trump to be filled with a terrible resolve and unleash the full force and fury of the United States military upon Iran, utterly decimating it in fulfillment of the prophecy of Jeremiah 49, verse 34 through 39.